here's a guy who not only knows Trump very well, he's known to deliver some butt kick himself. It's my pleasure to bring in the great Kid Rock. Kid Rock went from being a famous rock star musician to a man who influences millions, so much so that Joe Rogan even called Kid Rock, Donald Trump, and Tucker Carlson the right-wing Avengers when they walked into that UFC arena last month. And Rogan specifically noted how different the crowd was this time around with Kid Rock compared to previous times Trump has entered the arena. We're here now to discuss a wide range of issues impacting the country is legendary rock star himself. May I call you Kid? May I call you my friend? Kid Rock. So, Kid, you see this stuff, and, you know, we had your book before this thing happened last night, and now you see Colorado Supreme Court using lawfare to remove the guy that they're deeply afraid of. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you just summed it up, but if I could sum it up in layman's terms, like I think most Americans would say, I'd say it's a crock of... And I would also employ this, Eric. I would say that kangaroo Supreme Court wants to go ahead and take Trump off the ballot. You know who they should put on there?
You? Who?
I'm just playing around.
The censors will probably bleep that out, but that's hilarious.
Listen, it's like you said, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of resources, it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars when there's so many more problems facing that state, facing our country. You know, and they don't want to fight fair with this guy in an election and go policy for policy. Who can go against him on the left? I don't care who's out there in the world that can energy independent, having our border secured, strengthen the military, not getting us any stupid wars. Everybody making money from minorities on up. It's ridiculous.
You sound like you know a thing or two about this. By the way, I heard a story today that, you know, I know you're very friendly with Trump. I'm very friendly with Trump. I hear, you know, you guys talk quite a bit. You golf together. You went to the UFC thing. That must be pretty amazing when you see those types of people. Dana White, the UFC crowd, you're there, Trump's there. Man, if that's not Americana, nothing is, Kid.
It's quite an experience. Every time we spend time together, whether it's on a golf course and social settings, that's our third UFC fight together. You know, I just, if there's one thing I get across to people, you know, you see the man in politics, and of course you get to see other aspects of his life, but I could just talk 2 seconds about him as a friend and how over the years I've just become so comfortable in him being my friend and me being his that, you know, a lot of people are nervous and things around him, just like I was, you know, when he was president the first few times. And now I drink my beer and smoke my cigar. We talk about worldly things. Sometimes he asks me about policy. Other times we're just talking about sports or this, that, and the other. And I see him with his kids. You know, if you can measure a man by one thing, look at his children. Look at all his kids. I've come to know them all. Some of the grandkids. They're terrific human beings, no matter what your politics are. And if you really want to judge somebody, I know it's not fair in all cases. People do have problems, and I'm not knocking someone who has problems. We all have family members or people that we know have been through that. But to have that family be as well put together as they are, coming from, it starts at the top with that man. So, you know, like I tell a lot of people, I don't like Trump. I freaking love Trump.
Okay, that's good to know. You mentioned, you know, light up a cigar, have a beer, brings me to Bud Light. Yeah, I remember that. We played it 100 times in the show, Kid. You just, you know, mowing down the cases of Bud Light with your automatic, semi-automatic. It was fantastic. But now I hear you're making amends with the Bud Light, and okay, Megyn Kelly took you to task a little bit. Let's take a listen.
This is like the only successful boycott that Republicans have ever engaged in. It's the only time they've stuck together and actually been heard. And because Kid Rock and Dana White want to give it up, we're supposed to all surrender our principles now. And I like Kid Rock. I actually do. I like the guy. But he's wrong. He can do what he wants. If he wants to drink a Bud Light, he can. He does not speak for the rest of us. Many of us are still deeply offended by that brand's partnership with the person who makes his living mocking women. Dylan Mulvaney, not to mention what they said about their core audience and customer base, which is that they've gotten too fratty and they want to get away from them. Who at Bud Light thinks that we do what Kid Rock tells us to?
All right, well, so my good friend Megan there, she don't like no Bud Light, my friend. So what's your response?
Well, first off, I love Megan. We've been friends for a long time. But she's got this one wrong. Saying me and Dana don't speak for conservatives. Neither one of us ever said we did. I explained myself before on another program about Bud Light. I'm pretty sure they got the message. Do I agree with what they did? F no. And we held their head underwater for quite some time, and we heard them. But I'm not someone to keep punching somebody when they're down, when there's a whole lot more companies deserving of this treatment. And, and Dana has told me specifically, as a very good friend of mine, about, the things they've done through the years with Folds of Honor. So has Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, for that matter, and countless other things. And I'm like, I get it. They made a mistake. All right, I don't need to kill them. But Megan ought to be careful when she's throwing stones in glass houses, because I told her way back in the day, you both were on a familiar network, and she could have been king of Fox News. But they dangled that shiny carrot in front of her, and for whatever reason, whether it was money, maybe she wanted more mainstream success, she goes to NBC. And what happened at NBC? She's still as conservative as she ever was over there, and NBC didn't like that. So what'd they do? They threw her out like a redheaded stepchild. So careful, Megan. We're all on the same team here. Just because I have different beliefs than you, conservatives don't all think alike and agree on every issue, much like that race-baiting clown Al Sharpton doesn't speak for all black people. We can all have different points of views, and that goes for the left and right, too. I think at the end of the day, we can all, hopefully, in this coming year, try to find more things we have in common than we don't. I talked to Bill Maher, and we're talking, and he hates Trump. I'm like, I love Trump. Do you want to sit here and talk about this the whole time, or you want to find some stuff we have in common? And I think this country needs it, and not to throw you or anyone else under the bus, but the media's got a whole lot to do with this.
Oh, yeah. If it bleeds, it leads. And, in clicks matter, I'm sure some people are going to pick up the Megan stuff, which is good, too. We'll talk about it. You mean to tell me I'm going to have to drink a Bud?
By the way, you're welcome, Megan. That's how it works. That probably helps her out by me running my mouth.
Well, I haven't had a Bud Light since the Dylan Mulvaney controversy. I haven't had a Bud Light since you shot up those cases of beer. And my team should put that up there. And there you go. So I haven't had Bud Light since you did this, Rock. You're going to tell me I'm going to have a Bud Light? Because I'm coming to these concerts. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you got coming up. You got a bunch of things. First of all, folks, if you don't know this, I'll wait till we come back on camera. Hold on, let him shoot. All right.
By the way, I never told anybody they have to have a Bud Light. I'm saying look at the whole picture.
Well, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that part.
Okay.
But what I was saying is, if you've never been to Kid Rock's place in Nashville, Kid Rock's rockin' big
ass honky tonk.
Honky tonk steakhouse. If you've never been there, you're missing, because 4 stories of a restaurant, rock. There's bars, there's live music everywhere. It's insane. Now, talk to us about these 2 events. You have Kid Rock's Rockin' Rodeo, and you have Rock the Country Festival. Rock, I'm coming to at least 2 of those shows, right?
I hope you come to all 7 of the Rock the Countries, and I hope you come to the Rockin' Rodeo. You're invited anywhere, cousin. Rock the Country is something I partnered up with a great entertainment company, Premiere. We're going into smaller towns, 7 smaller cities. Me and Jason Aldean, a host of all our favorite other artists, from Skinner to Hank Jr. to Miranda Lambert, Bradley Gilbert, and Travis Tritt, so many. And this is really just a place for people to come, obviously hear some good music, but more so celebrate America and celebrate freedom. Everybody's welcome, but you don't have to have 4 nose rings and green hair to come to this festival. And, if you don't, not feel out of place. So, that's the tickets are through the roof on that. So thank you, everyone out there, for supporting it. You've showed us, that trying something different outside the box is working. And the Rockin' Rodeo, I'm looking forward to that at AT&T Stadium with my friends from the PBR who do the bull riding, trying to put this rodeo together that's a team format where, barrel racers are going to compete head to head, plus all the other disciplines that are going to be going on there. Plus, we're going to try to sprinkle in music with myself and other special things in and around the rodeo. I played other rodeos, and it's great. The rodeo goes and you play for an hour. We're going to try to make this different, not only with the team formats and rodeos, but also with the music being intertwined and just make it a really great night. We want all these events to be, friendly, positive. We're gonna have security.
I'm gonna see if I can grab this guy. He's up the road a little bit up in Palm Beach. His name's Donald Trump. Maybe we can sneak in, and come see one or two of your shows.
I actually offered him the stage at Sturgis because John McCain came years ago and used my stage to talk to the people for 10, 15 minutes. We usually have 30 to 50,000 people there. Wow. I was like, man, if you want to come out there and say a few words,
you want to know something?
I'm sure they'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, listen, it's a state he needs, he wants, and that's a great idea. We'll definitely do it. I'm coming. Kid, before we go, love having you. Love to get you back as things progress into the tour. We do this on this show. My fans know where I stand on this. I'm very serious. It was a very serious question. Rolling Stones or Beatles?
Man, that's like picking which kid you love the most. But I only have one son, so I'm gonna go with Stones.
There you go.
Not only for music, but longevity.
Yeah.
And if you go pure rock and roll, you go Mick and Keith versus Lennon and McCartney. We know who wins that battle.
One's a 60s boy band from Europe, and the other's just an amazing rock and roll band with great musicians. I'm going to stick with that. Kid Rock and I agree on Stones over the Beatles, folks. Kid Rock, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Best of luck. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you too, my friend.